Welcome to The Business Behind Your Business, the podcast where we delve into the financial strategies and insights that drive success for small and medium-sized business owners. I'm your host, Paul Sweeney, and in each episode we bring you expert guests who share practical advice, real-world experiences, and actionable tips to empower you on your business journey. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, get ready to uncover the secrets to success and gain valuable insights into the business behind your business. Welcome back to the Business Behind Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Paul Sweeney, and today we're going to deal with a topic that is a frustration for many business owners. It's also a frustration for your accountant and tax agent, tax advisors, because there's this misunderstanding and conflict, particularly when we come to paying taxes and reviewing how much money you made in your business at the end of the year. I'm often faced with the question of how can I have a profit but no money in the bank? And then the other side of it is, why am I paying taxes when I've got no money to pay for it? Well, it's not as uncommon as we would hope, but there is a solution. And fortunately, our guest today, Debbie Deknight from Right Way Profits and Bookkeeping, is going to unlock something. Look, I'm going to call it groundbreaking, because after 30 years in the accounting industry, it is groundbreaking because I think this tool, this method, actually demystifies a lot of what small business owners need to know about managing their books, managing their cash flow. So we're going to dive into that. But before we do, a little bit about Debbie. Over 30 years of accounting experience, so kindred spirit here today. She's a certified Profit First Mastery expert, helping business owners gain financial clarity and independence. And that is what we're about. That's why we are here on the Business Behind Your Business podcast. So Debbie's personal journey through financial struggle has given her a deep understanding of many of the issues that business owners are facing and face regularly, and the challenges that they've encountered. She knows how to, and encourages and helps, guides people how to overcome those financial challenges, working towards having a more profitable business and a healthier, stronger cash flow. So Debbie, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the Business Behind Your Business.
Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, it's great. Look, I came across you while I was looking for somebody to actually come and explain this whole idea of what Profit First is, and I guess why it is such a revolution for how business owners need to look at their accounting records, but more importantly, their cash flow. So what is the Profit First concept? What's the difference?
So Profit First is essentially a cash flow management system. When we turn around and we start a business, we learn our trade, we learn our skills, but what people usually don't understand is the back end, the numbers, how to actually have a profit in their business. They know how to turn around and produce and provide a great product, but the education is really not out there for them to understand, how do I be a profitable business and still deliver an excellent service? So Profit First essentially takes the normal sales minus expense equals profit, and we flip that little sentence around and we put the emphasis on profit. So it's sales minus your profit equals your expenses. Profit is no longer an afterthought, a hope that you're going to have at the end of the day. It is now built into your business strategically, because your profit is taken before you pay your expenses, which means your expenses now must align with the amount of money that's left. And if you can't turn around and pay all of your expenses on what's left, your expenses in your business are way too high. Now, that could be due to payroll. It could be subscriptions. It could be because of lack of productivity. It could be a lot of different things that are making your business too high in their expenses. So with Profit First, we always focus on, what are your expenses? How much are you paying yourself? Having money put away for taxes. It's about using small plates. Profit First is a cash flow management system. And what it does by the use of small plates, which equals bank accounts, we turn around and separate your business's finances into individual accounts according to purpose so that you can see every time you look at your accounts exactly what money you have earmarked for what. When all of your money goes into one bank account, you have no financial clarity whatsoever. You don't know how much of that money is going to be needed for payroll. You don't know how much of that you're going to need to pull for your own payroll. Are you putting anything away for taxes? You sure should be, because that is a nasty surprise at the end of the year if you're not planning for your taxes. You should know how much money the OPEX or operating account should be for your business. You should understand where every dollar goes and what its purpose is. And if you don't have that clarity, then you don't have control of your finances. They have control of you. So we need to turn around and take the common phrase of sales minus expenses equals profit and change that, because profit is an afterthought. It's something that is hopefully left over, but oftentimes isn't. So if we turn around and look at it instead as sales minus profit equals your expenses, the profit now becomes your priority, and your expenses must fit the money that's left. People focus on what is first. That's just the way we're wired. So when we turn around and put profit last in the equation, it becomes an afterthought, and your sales and expenses are where you focus. But we want to focus on sales and profit. Expenses should always fit what's left. So by using small plates or different bank accounts for different purposes and doing an allocation, every time you turn around and have some deposits in and you allocate to these other accounts, it gives you clarity. So you have a certain percentage that's your owner's comp. You have a certain percentage that you're going to put away for tax. You might have a certain percentage that you put away for payroll. You're going to have a certain percentage you're going to put away for profit. And that profit account is the one that you're going to fund first. Because again, what comes first is priority. So it's kind of like the old envelope system. Like my grandmother's age, I can remember watching, what was it? The Waltons here in the US. And you can remember Grandma Walton having an envelope, and she had them in her purse, and she had the cash there for the family. And there were different envelopes with different amounts of cash in it. And that's how she controlled, what they had and what they could spend on things. It's the same kind of thing for businesses. By having different bank accounts that you're not allowed to steal from, they are to be used only for their intended purpose. This all makes more sense when you do a profit assessment, which is part of Profit First. And essentially, what you're doing is you're taking your profit and loss, your cash flow, and your balance sheet, and you're figuring out what is the percentage for your owner's pay, which includes car payments, car insurance, life insurance, anything the business is paying on your behalf. You're figuring out how much profit do you actually have. Profit is not money sitting in a savings account waiting to pay a bill. Profit is there, and it's going to be saved and never used to pay something. So if you've got money set aside because you're like going to buy a new truck or something for the business, that's not profit. That is still OPEX. So essentially, you want to turn around and be able to figure out in your business, what are these percentages? And then we have goal percentages that you look at. So you have on one side, this is what my business is doing. On the other side, we have, this is what a healthy business should be doing with their percentages. And we turn around and work from getting to where you are to being a healthy business with healthy percentages. And it takes time and it takes work. I'm not going to lie. It's not a magic bullet. It is something that if you work and you do, works. There's no doubt in my mind that it will work, but you have to be able to work the program. And the Profit First book walks you through that. It walks you through how to do an instant assessment. It has in there the chart and everything for you to look at what your expenses should be for your business. It is a great place to start. There's an audiobook, there's the regular book, and I believe they even have one out there that's a video book. I can't remember the platform that it's on, but if you're sitting in your car driving somewhere and you like to turn around and do audiobooks, I recommend that you get it. Even if you take one piece of information out of the book and it helps you in your business, it's worth your time. I'm very big on education and looking at things from different angles to find the best thing to grow and be profitable.
So there's a couple of things that you mentioned in there, Debbie, like obviously, well, and firstly, let's just stick to the book. So with the book and the audio book, you still get the link to a lot of the resources, a lot of the worksheets, which are a great, as you said, they're a great place to start. What I tend to find is a lot of people start with this process and then I think they tend to get busy or they put it on hold or something happens out of the ordinary. And this is where working with a professional, working with a Profit First certified advisor can be really helpful because you've got that accountability in this process and you've got, I guess, the feedback mechanism in that when something unusual happens, the panic can go away because you can work through that solution or because you can guarantee that unusual event for you has happened to another business somewhere else before. It's pretty much a guarantee. Now, Debbie, you're talking about this concept of having different plates and different bank accounts. And I think in the book, I think he actually starts with this concept of how big is the plate. Can you share a little bit more about how that concept works?
Sure. So most business owners turn around and they log into their bank account every day, or they're looking at their QuickBooks or whatever, and they're refreshing to see what's in their bank account. So they're looking at a number. Let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, they're looking at $50,000 and it's sitting in their OPEX account. And they're like, yeah, those deposits cleared. That guy paid me. That's wonderful. I can go buy that piece of equipment I want. Or I can turn around and upgrade that subscription, to the one that costs $500 a month more. I can handle it. Look at what's in my bank. But it's unreal. It's not right. Out of that $50,000, this coming Friday, you've got to pay 20 of it in payroll. You're going to pay $5,000 to yourself. You have nothing put away for taxes. You have nothing put away for profit. You don't get any clarity of where that money is. And the way it works is you have 5 foundational accounts. You have an income account. That's where every deposit goes. Its only job is to hold your money until it's time for you to allocate to the other bank accounts. You have a profit account, a tax account, a owner's comp account. And owner's comp is separate than a payroll account because you are the most important employee that your business has. Your pay comes above everybody else's. And I know that's not the way people think, but that's the way you need to think as a business owner. And then we have our OPEX account. That's where your rent comes from, the utilities, the insurance that you pay, all of that kind of stuff comes out of the OPEX account. So let's just make the numbers really simple. Let's say, oh, and by the way, payroll account is a sub account of your OPEX account. So people who have payroll, I always recommend that they have that extra account, that sixth account, because otherwise your OPEX looks like you have more money than you do, because payroll is always such a big nut that it's misleading if you don't give it your own account. So say I allocate every week. Every Monday morning I come in, I take the money in my income account and I'm going to allocate it. So I give myself 25% of what's there. I give my profit account, let's just say 5% that's in there. We want it to be more, but let's be realistic. I'm going to also put 5% into my tax account. We'd like that to, of course, be higher, but this is where I can afford now. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to fund our payroll account. Say that's another 25%. And then the rest of the money goes into your OPEX account. Now, if you can't pay those bills with what's in that OPEX account, you need to cut your expenses. That's plain and simple. All there is to it. Your profit should be built into every transaction. When you're doing an estimate, when you're doing a proposal, you should have a built-in percentage that is going to be your profit, so that when it's time to allocate, that profit is there. It's always there. It's not a leftover. It was purposely put into everything and taken out first and set aside. So the reason we do that is not just so that you're profitable, but so that you actually have the money, or some of the money that your P&L is showing that is profit. It's also so that you can turn around as the business owner every quarter, take 50% of that profit and take it as an owner's draw. It's a bonus for everything you do as being an owner. The risks that you take, the hours that you put in, the headaches, the stress, everything that goes along with owning a business, that is yours. The other 50% gets put in a profit hold account at a different bank and it stays there. That is your, oh my gosh, dire emergency fund that you never touch unless it's dire emergency. And that builds up, quarter after quarter. And that's where you're going to be able to get 3 months, 6 months of money set aside to operate your business in case of emergency. There were a lot of businesses that when COVID hit had their profit hold account, and they were able to help themselves keep going through COVID because they had that money set aside. It's really important to plan for the future. There are business owners out there who have 12 different bank accounts because they're doing things with a purpose. They are saving for equipment upgrades, new trucks for people in the trades. They want to eventually buy their own building instead of renting. There's so many ways that you can use profit first to help you not only run your business now, but to plan for the future.
Yeah, there's so many ways. And I think one of the traps that a lot of people get into is we talk about the 5 bank accounts and the percentages. But I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, was the end goal of how much profit you want to be taking right at the front is not where you're starting from. You've got to start with what you can manage. Because if you don't start with what you can manage, you'll get very disillusioned with the system and it won't work. Because often if you're starting profit first for the first time, you're coming from a point where you're, things are
Yeah.
not well. Things are not the way they should be. Your cash flow, your profit situation is not how it should be. When you're starting, you're starting from a point which is not ideal. So we need to move there gradually. And I think a lot of people jump in and try and do everything all at once and get disillusioned with how it's working and then give up. So I think the key
Yes.
advice you said was start with something small.
If you jump in and bite off more than you can chew, you're going to fail. There's no way around it. So I would say more than 60% of the businesses that we work with, their profit percentage in the beginning is either 1 or 2%. They're not up there to the 15% that we'd like to, have them see. Their tax account is 1 or 2%. It's not up there to 15. We have to work with where we are now. That's why we need to find out where we are now and then slowly start to make changes. The more percent we can cut from expenses, the more we can add to tax and profit and owner's comp. It's a process for most people to get to where they really want to go. It takes a good 2 years because it has to be slow and methodical on what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think it isn't going to happen overnight, but there's also that little bit of that adrenaline rush every time that you can increase the profit percentage. It's a bit of a boost, and it's one of those feel good moments that yes, we're moving, we can see progress here, and we can do it realistically because we've used the strategy to actually look at how we're operating our business and where we're spending, cut back some of that unnecessary spending and take back control. Look, that's Debbie's given us a very comprehensive summary and introduction to the topic. But as I've said earlier today, and as you'll hear me say on pretty much every episode of the podcast, don't always try and do these things alone. You can learn a lot of stuff on the internet. You can learn a lot by reading books, but working with somebody who is an expert in the process, expert in the system, will get you better results. So Debbie, how do people get in touch with you as the Profit First expert?
Usually they go to our website and there is a book a call page, and they just schedule a free appointment with me where we talk about what's going on in their business, what's going right, what's going wrong, where do they want to be, and just kind of see if it's a good fit for what they're looking for. I'm always, if nothing else, able to give them some good pieces of advice that they can turn around and work on to help them in their situation.
Right. And the website is rightwayprofits.com.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to find out more, go to rightwayprofits.com. And as Debbie mentioned, get a copy of the book Profit First, which is available in paperback, audio and video, and a lot of great tools and resources in there, a lot of good, easy to follow worksheets to help you with that. But there's also no substitute for getting guidance from an expert like Debbie. So I encourage you to reach out to Debbie and book a consultation with her to get started on your Profit First journey. So Debbie, look, if people are thinking that's a lot, what's the one thing that you would get them to start with?
Open up another bank account, call it profit, and put 1% of your income every month into that profit account. And once you start to see that grow and know that that is truly profit, you'll want to open that second one.
Yeah.
And then, then you've got the bug. Then you can see what the future can be.
Yeah. I think, get started. Take those first steps. You've got to take the first steps. Every journey starts with a single step. So start with something today, but always grab the book, reach out to Debbie at rightwayprofits.com and get started on your journey. And look, avoid that uncomfortable conversation at the end of your financial year where you don't have the money to pay the taxes or where you don't have the money to pay payroll. Avoid those situations by taking control of your business and your cash flow, and seriously have a look at Profit First, because it will revolutionize the way you look at your cash flow. Debbie, it's been a pleasure, and you've shared some wonderful tips and guidance and really explained the process really clearly to us all today. Thank you again for joining us on the Business Behind Your Business podcast.
Thank you so much. And I wish everybody to have a really profitable business.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Business Behind Your Business. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and valuable for your business journey. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favourite platform. Share it with fellow business owners who could benefit, and send in your burning questions because we love hearing from you. Missed any of our previous episodes or looking for additional resources to help grow your business? Head over to our website at thebusinessbehindyourbusiness.com. There you'll find our full archive of past episodes along with show notes, transcripts, and links to valuable resources mentioned in each episode. Your journey to business success continues at thebusinessbehindyourbusiness.com. Until next time, stay inspired, stay informed, and keep building the business of your dreams.